Introduction for visual interpreters. The film's narrator describes various everyday situations, alongside simple illustrations. For example, a workplace, at home with the family, or at the doctor's, where hearing-sighted people and people with deafblindness communicate with each other through using speech, sign language, or tactile sign language. The images in the film have a few moving elements. Hands are moving when communication takes place via sign language and tactile sign language. When someone is communicating via speech, it is illustrated with speech bubbles, filling with horizontal lines instead of words. Another animated feature is a man with deafblindness walking, swinging a white cane with red markings from side to side in front of him. Regardless of the age of the person shown in the film, most are drawn with a happy mouth and dots for eyes. Hearing aids and glasses appear clearly using simple, colourful lines. The film ends with hands of different sizes and skin colours stacked on top of each other as a symbol of cooperation. A film about deafblindness, in accordance with the Nordic definition. Vision and hearing are our most important senses, and we use them a great deal. For example, to communicate with others, perceive information, and to orientate and move freely and safely in different environments. Our vision and hearing enable us to see and hear what is happening around us. We can see other people, perceive their body language, as well as hear words and tone of voice when they speak. If vision is insufficient, hearing can help compensate, and vice versa. But if both senses are impaired, it becomes difficult, sometimes impossible, to compensate in that way. That gives touch, the tactile sense, an important role in different situations. When impairment of both vision and hearing are so severe that they struggle to compensate for each other, we define it as deafblindness. Deafblindness entails very specific barriers that affect the possibility of being active and participating in different contexts in many ways. It becomes increasingly difficult to converse and socialize with others, to access information and move freely and safely in different places. Constantly having to compensate for impaired vision and hearing takes time and energy. For people with deafblindness, communication and information of various kinds is often difficult to perceive. It can be experienced as fragmentary and incoherent, and sometimes it is completely lost. Fatigue and loss of energy are often described as major problems. Many people with deafblindness experience mental and physical ill health. It could be anxiety, low mood, body ache, and tension. Deafblindness does not always mean that a person completely lacks vision and hearing. Many have residual functions that, together with the right aids, can make a huge difference. It is common for vision and hearing to deteriorate over time. This is called progression. What it means to live with deafblindness varies greatly from person to person. It depends, among other things, on how extensive the impairment of vision and hearing is, how the interaction between vision and hearing is working, and whether there are additional impairments. It is also significant when in life deafblindness occurs, and which sense is affected first. We say congenital deafblindness when the combined vision and hearing impairment has occurred early in life before the child has developed formal language. The whole family then needs professional and continuous support. The knowledge and understanding of close ones are very important for the child's ability to understand the outside world, but also to develop communication and a language. However, when deafblindness occurs later in life, when the person has already developed a language, either spoken language or sign language, we use the term acquired deafblindness This means a major adjustment, also for close ones. Most things are affected, anything from practical situations in everyday life to socializing with others. Living with deafblindness means dealing with many different societal contacts. This takes time and requires a lot of energy. The need for support varies greatly from person to person. Society therefore needs to offer services from professionals with different skills. Learning strategies to be able to communicate with others, being able to move independently in different environments, getting access to adapted aids, and deafblind interpreters are examples of services. The services often need to be based on methods that have other sensory impressions in focus, such as touch, smell, and taste. Other services are about being able to get personal support to make everyday life possible and to better cope with the major changes that deafblindness entails. Time, continuity, and collaboration are particularly important to consider. Society has the ultimate responsibility for making activities and environments accessible. Interdisciplinary collaborations between professionals who encounter people with deafblindness in their work make a huge difference. Are you or someone close to you living with deafblindness? The Association of the Swedish Deafblind can be found in several locations in Sweden. Find your local association at fsdb.org. Learn more about deafblindness at nkcdb.se. National Resource Centre for Deafblindness.